Yeah, you're right. Welcome back to M Hood Fishing, everybody. Here's what's up. I'm on the doorstep of Sunset. This is looking like an unlikely spot for me to fish. If you know me well, you'll be looking at this right here in front of us, this mud, and think, wow, how are you going to get your fish in or let a fish go if you're going to let a fish go, because it looks sinky, right? That's what I thought when I got here. I was hoping that I was playing this right. I'm on the mud right now. How far can I go? I'm in the water. I think I can do it. So, yeah, I was trying to call this spot right. I was looking at the tide and everything, because it's a little lower than yesterday. It's under 3 feet right now. It's about like 2.8, 2.9. This is just according to the Carrollton flood stage gauge up at Carrollton in New Orleans. So we are not close to low tide. We're a bit past high tide. Low tide is going to be at 2 something in the backyard at 2 this morning, and like I said, doorstep of Sunset, so we got a good ways to go. It's a falling tide, right? Because high tide was not too long ago. You could see where it was. Look how much it's come down. Good ways. Now, that water line up there, that highest one, might be from the wakes of ships. We are in the beginning, the very beginning of the anchorage. We're not going to have a ship on this side. Very likely we won't. But yeah, that's the first one. This is pretty much where it begins. I fished this spot before and I didn't get hit by snags. I've caught some fish here before, some nice fish in the past. It's just a different spot, easy, quick to get to. See what we can do. I thought I would come to this spot because it's produced gar, and the river is salty right now, therefore it's probably gonna be a lot of gaff top, bull shark, alligator gar, definitely, maybe freshwater cats, but they just haven't been coming out of these spots along here, along this anchorage stretch here in Belle Chasse, Louisiana. But we will see what we can get out of here. The question right now isn't what can we get out of here this evening, the question is, where are we going to get our rods in? Are we going to get them in sand spikes in the mud, or are we going to keep them up here in the rocks? Let's figure that out. All right, so let's pull that gear bag out. It's got certain things in it. Because we've been having some rain lately, we got the machete because we've had a lot of growth, a big spurt of growth, because we went forever towards towards the last part of late summer. We went without rain for the longest time. Then we got a bunch of rain, and that little bit of rain in a short time led to huge spurts of growth. So some areas are overgrown. We don't really need to chop stuff down here at this spot this evening, but we do need to figure out where we're putting these rods. Whoa, we need to watch where we're walking too. Let me show you something. You see I've got a hole there already. Boom, rock. Boom, rock. 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 That's probably why this mud is so walkable, because it's on top of rocks. There's one kind of in the rocks. So pretty much in the past, I've been here a bunch of times, right, in the past, and I believe that's what I had to do just about each time, is like locate some good spots in the rocks for either to put the butt of the rod in, or like I'm doing right now, just, well, the rods aren't going to look perfect, but I think these spots will do good. And we also have bait runners down here, so that will save us from losing expensive gear. If it's just gaff tops, that is really annoying to lose expensive gear to a gaff top. I don't think that's going to happen even if we didn't use the bait runners, but I got 2 Pin Fierce bait runners here, Pin Fierce 3s. They're 6,000s. Well, this one is a 6,000 right here. I think this one is, they're both 6,000s. Thought one was different. Sorry for that. I was getting confused with a couple other pin Ferris reels I have. My ones with the mono on them. One of those is a 5 and one is a 6. Already ready to go. Because it's salty, we're keeping with the steel leaders. These are the same rigs I left the spot last night with. Everything's going to be the same. Steel leader. I think these are either 3 or 4 size KLs. 4 ounces of lead. Could get away with 3 ounce, but 4 is okay. I mean, there's not a lot of current in the river because the tide's going out. That'll increase the current a little bit. But typically when the river's this low and stays like this for a while, you don't have a lot of current. If it was a rising river, which in a few days it might tick up a little bit, but it's not going to be a serious rise. But a rising river will have more current, especially if it was a significant rise, like if we were going to increase our level out here by a couple of feet or more, you know, serious spring flood. Let's see how that's going to look. Well, definitely going to be using the bait runner for this one, because look at that angle. That's not too bad. It'll be fun flying over these rocks, because probably going to trip and fly downwards is what I'm going to do. Like I said, both rigs are essentially the same. It's the same size KL, same lead, but 2 different types of steel leader. One's a thinner and one's, I believe, the same gauge. However, it's coated with plastic. It might be actually stronger, but it doesn't really matter. They'll both work. They're both strong enough for what we're fighting out here. We're going to start off with relatively small baits. It's bluegill. There we go. Here's the other one. I might be just a little stubborn about it. That might be why I'm here, because normally I would look at a spot like this and go, it's not going to really work if I'm fighting a big gar. It's going to be hard to get them in, da-da-da-da-da. Luckily, it's not sinky. I think the reason why I'm being really stubborn right now, I'm fishing this anyway, even though it might present some complications, is because I don't really have all the time in the world to get to another spot. I wanted to bada bing, bada boom, get a line out, get some fish caught. There we go, our first bait is out. I would have been here earlier, but we had rain earlier that held me up a little bit. And so here we are, still on the doorstep. We're like almost into that sunset. We'll see what's up. Yeah, I mean, if I turned this spot down, I may have ended up where I fished yesterday, and I kind of wanted to be somewhere different today. The situation can always be worse because there's worse situations out there. Whenever you find yourself in a bad situation and you're down about it, you're feeling bad about yourself, always remember, there's always someone who has it worse. Trust me, that's true. That is definitely true. So the best thing is just to buck up. You get that second bait out there, and if you got to bring a fish in by going knee deep in the mud, that's just what you got to deal with. But yeah, don't mean you're gonna want to come back the next day and go knee deep again, does it? What can be bad sometimes is if you're unsuspecting, you don't realize the folly you've made. I do. I know there's a possibility if I have to go further than I have into the water that I could sink in the mud, and it's going to be an issue. Might come up out of that mud with only one shoe on. But when you walk into a situation where you have no expectation, you don't know what to expect, you don't have no clue, and stuff happens to you, oh man, that's tumultuous, right? Tumultuous, you know. That could suck because you just didn't see it coming, and sometimes we don't see it coming. Okay, this rod with the silver tape, it's been out for like not even a minute. It might be drifting in the current, but last night I was talking about the double fake. you're watching the rod tip do this, and you're like, oh, it's just drifting, and then you put your back to it, and then out of the corner of your eye, you're like, wait a minute, it's half bent over. We got the same sort of thing going over here. Whoa, we got it. This is, yeah, definitely more than a drift. We're gonna position myself between the rods on this mound of rocks because we're getting hit here. That was definitely not a drift. That was a hit on the black rod. Something hit it. And we might be getting packed on this one too. We're just over a mud drop off. Some of these spots along here are not good for braid. The one I was in last night is okay for braid, but occasionally you'll encounter something there that cuts the braid. I've not encountered anything here, metal in the water out there, that has cut my braid. However, there are spots along here further down and a little further up where I'll only use mono. That's the river for you. I mean, it's not a natural setting anymore, right? Not really. I mean, we've done so much to it in the means of controlling it, you know, building levees to contain it, paving a lot of the bottom of the river to stop erosion and to increase flow. It's revetment that I'm talking about. And in the modern history of the river, we've been navigating up and down it for so long. There's just a lot of stuff sunken to the bottom, industrial stuff, maritime stuff, everything from like sunken ships, barges, to places where they don't keep barges anymore, but they used to, so there's leftover barge cable on the bottom, industrial rope, lost cargo, just any number of things. And down here, because we deal with hurricanes quite often, we have places in the river where the bottom is littered with stuff that got in the river through a hurricane. A lot of sunken barges, either because they were leaking and people weren't paying attention and their barge sank because it was leaking, or the hurricanes. Hurricanes have sunk a lot of barges, and some of them get pulled out and some of them get left down there. It's a lot of junk down there. Wow, it was just like sitting here ranting and rattling, just talking it out, hoping one of these little taps would produce a fish for us, but it looks like you just got a scatterbrain M. Hood history lesson there about the junk in the river. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of mullet and other things. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think here pretty soon, but I tell you what, we're getting into that period where instead of breaking out the big light, we need to break out some kind of light, and we might need some mosquito repellent because they've been bad lately. We're definitely going hatless now, so things might get crazy. You might see me just going insane all of a sudden because we have unfettered brain flow now. Well, we're gonna slow the brain flow down a little bit by putting this on, but not quite as much as like the headband did to Chong, you know, Cheech and Chong. Oh, it looks like I need to get back up here on these rocks. Yeah, I don't even really need this headlamp on quite yet, but because, you know, I look down at the screen of the camera and it actually looks better through the lens than it does through my eyes. Modern technology. The camera makes it look brighter out here than it actually is. We got a slack line now. Definitely getting hit by small fish. I would think they're gaff top. Channel cat is a possibility. Channel cat have a higher constitution for brackish water than blue cats. The blue cats are around. They might be in deeper holes or a little further up. They're just not in great numbers. We're not fishing the deepest water right now. We might be fishing 20, 30 feet of water out there over that drop off. They keep this area dredged. I don't think they dredge it like every month or whatever. It's just once in a while. I mean, where these ships are, it's a dredged area. I'm getting a good hit. I'm gonna disengage. That'll ensure a hookup if he runs with it. I do have my bait runner's drags not super loose. Fish, when they pick up my baits and run, they'll be able to take line, but there'll be just enough resistance to ensure a hookup. Finally. Oh, guys, we're stargazing there. I think we got us, yeah, we're hooked up. It's not a big fish, feels like a gaff top, just like I thought. It's pretty much a sure thing that if you fish the river down here right now, you're gonna be catching gaff top. Definitely gaff top, other things, but gaff top is the main thing you're gonna catch right now. It's just what it is. Yep, and that's definitely what it is. It's not a big one either. Better than getting skunked, I suppose, for sure. Kinda sinky right here. This tide is going out fast. It's got a ways to go, but oh man, I was hoping you would figure it out for yourself. Now you're just kind of stuck there. Let's see if I can get to you to help you out a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get out too far, just far enough to, whoa, it is very sinky right here. I'm gonna have to do a Nolan Ryan, don't come back. One fish is something. I'm just not feeling this spot. I was being stubborn. Honestly, most spots right now with the level the river's at, a little under 3, with the tide going out, and it's gonna be a fairly significant tide, not like a full moon, not like a spring tide, but yeah, right now most spots along here on my side of the river are gonna have this kind of mud in front of us. Even that spot we were at last night is gonna be like this. It's gonna be worse than it was last night. More shallow water, thick mud to get through. So I think we're not gonna break out the big light. We're just gonna keep this one bait out. Let's put up this second rod, keep this out for the moment, see if we can get another fish. And a relatively short video tonight is what we're gonna call it at. If it's one fish, it's one fish. It's just some river talk and a fish. I mean, it is what it is, right? This is what it is. The cool thing is that the night is relatively young and I am nowhere near being tired. So yeah, a second spot, different body of water is definitely on the table, and that means second video. So yeah, you're right. Make sure my hair looks good for you. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.